Hi, hello. Wait, let me grab my fucking notes. Oh my god. I'm in the middle of something right now. So this is our first like mini episode because like I just need to get this off my fucking chest and I can move on and then I don't know, maybe next week we'll get like a normal full episode. I don't know, we'll see. I don't even know when I'm dropping this. Also, it's gonna be like even less editing than usual. So yeah, this is probably not gonna sound great. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay. So we're talking about the Evocation book series. Wait, what's the official like name? Hold on. Oh yeah, the Summoner Circle. We're talking about the Summoner Circle because I'm trying to finish Ascension. Ascension is the second book in the series, and it's so infuriating because I hate Reese. I hate the lead. So like the way it goes, the first book, it was David's point of view for the most of the part. It's his story. Second book, it's mostly Reese. Like 90% of it is Reese, and I find him so fucking annoying. I think if you have Catholic guilt, you should just die. Like I don't know how to help you if you have like this level of Catholic guilt that he has. I think there's no cure. I don't think there's any solution. You just have to fucking die, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like it is what it is, man. Oh god. Oh god, let me go through my notes. Okay. So, oh, do I give you guys like a rundown of the plot? Or like, I mean, theoretically, if you're watching and listening to a podcast episode about the second book in the series, you must know the plot. You must be ready to be spoiled. So I guess I'm just not gonna do it. Anyway, so Ascension, quality wise, I guess it's the same writing style. I think like it's mostly like I think the characters are mostly well written. I see why people don't. I see, I'm close to the end. I'm close to the end, and I'm really struggling to finish the book because I fucking hate Reese. But like another critique I've seen is of Maximilian, the so-called like main antagonist. I disagree with that. The main antagonist is Reese, and his deep-seated insecurities. Oh my god, I feel like I'm losing my fake English American accent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting heated and I'm just gonna sound more and more Serbian, and by the end I'm just gonna start speaking in Serbian. I'm sorry. Oh господи. So like yeah, Reese is the main villain, not Maximilian, but like I've seen people argue that like Max is like oh, he's such an obvious villain. This whole thing feels like black and white, blah blah blah. I disagree because Reese is the obvious villain. But also I don't know, as when it comes to like men who are groomers, because let's be real, that's what he is. I think it's like pretty accurate, especially if we like take into consideration the amount of money he has, the amount of like power, like how long he has been established. That's another thing I've noticed is that's been interesting in the review space. I've seen arguments that like, the age gap between him and David is not big. The book is being weird. Like, it's not a serious age gap. But like, guys, he met David when David was a teenager. He met him as a child, and now he's fucking him. And he knows that David has like some very serious daddy issues, abandonment issues. Like, this is clearly, to me, this is grooming. I don't know. Maybe I'm misusing terminology, but like, that's the vibe it's giving me. Oh my god, am I yelling? I'm so sorry if I'm yelling, you guys. Oh, so let me just get all of the brain farts out of it, and then we're gonna go to the main problem. That's Moira. I hate the way this book treats Moira. So like basically, God, I've seen. I am a white woman, so obviously there's a lot of things I'm not gonna like catch on when it comes to Moira. I'd argue that also the author is probably missing some things when it comes to writing Moira. I don't know. Maybe she had like a very good sensitivity reader for her, but like stuff lost and but stuff got lost in the editing, in the shuffle, whatever it is, the publishing shuffle, as you would say. But like yeah, I've seen people argue like Moira is the mammy, Moira is like babying Reese and stuff. And at first, for the first book, I was like, I don't know, blah blah blah. But for the second book, I agree 100%. Because it's like, what do you mean Moira can't go with her girls and get her nails done? Because Reese is a fucking child. Reese is a fucking baby who just can't, he's incompetent. He can't make a sensible decision. He's not sleeping. He's not really eating. He's just like collecting these demons because like, he wants power. He's just, oh my god, I'm so ambitious. I want all the power possible, but also like I have this like hyper like Catholic guilt, and I am the most miserable piece of shit ever, and I'm just never gonna ask for help, and I'm just gonna fall deeper and deeper into this abyss of self-sabotage. And it's just like, oh my god, no wonder Max wanted to like take over. Oh my god. And it blows my mind, like, wow, she can't even like have a moment of peace. To go back to the first book, why I didn't really see this criticism, why I didn't really get what people meant. Like when he first like gets in this position of power, I know there was a paragraph in the first book where like he just leaves the house to ruins, like she has to do everything, and he's also not taking care of himself. And then she just like freaks out on him, and she's basically like, hey, fuck off, I'm leaving, and just leaves for a day or two. So we had that moment where she got peace, but we didn't really delve deeply into that moment because it was just like a paragraph. Here, the nail salon is like a full scene, beginning of the chapter, I believe. I don't know. And it's like, man, she can't get a minute of peace. It's infuriating. And on top of, on top of that, extra salt to the wound. Her friends are talking about like their lives, their escapades, and it's just like, man, you and Moira, as in the reader, start to think like, damn, maybe she really did fuck up by getting married so young, because she is young. She's like younger than me. She's like 24. I'm 25. And that like really freaks me out. And again, I know people are gonna be like, oh, it's not a big like age difference between her and David and Reese. And I'm just like, yeah, true, but also she should be at the club. She needs to be at the club. She does not need to deal with this idiot, this fucking idiot. No, to be fair, she does go to the club. I had it in my notes. Hold on, hold on. Okay, I got my notes. She does go to the club. I did not write down which specific chapter because I'm kind of going by memory. I didn't even skim the previous chapters. Oh my god, because that's how mad I am at this man and like this book and everything. And I genuinely, listen, the first book, I think I rated it like 4 stars. And if I'm being objective, wait, where's my pen? Hold on. If I'm being objective, like I think this book is also technically gonna be a 4 stars. Again, I'm not sure how it's gonna end. The end is of course going to like color how I see everything. Like it's gonna be the full context of the situation. But like I don't know. I think like quality level it's very similar to the first book, but it just like it really dropped the ball in my opinion when it comes to Reese and Moira, and it's just so infuriating, and you just kind of want to grab her and be like, "Girl, run! What are you doing here?" But anyways, yeah, she goes to the club. They have like a huge conflict situation, and she goes to the club. She goes to Lida's. Oof. For context, I am reading this. I'm not listening to the audiobook, so I'm not sure. I think mentally, I mostly like read it as Lida, but it could be Leda too. Anyways, so she goes to Lida's club. That's like David's older sister, older half sister, I believe. And she's like this anarchy witch person, summoner person, and it feels like she has a cult too, and like she's like all powerful or messy rocker girl. She's how much older is she? I want to say 40s, but I honestly don't know. And Moira lets loose and she has a good time, and she mostly like dances, she kind of flirts with somebody, and then like Lida invites her up, and there's like a sex magic situation going on with a lot of people. They're like an orgy basically, and you're like, whoa, 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 where are we going with this? And so is Moira, and you're like, what's gonna happen? And they have like very interesting, in my opinion, like dialogue where like Lida feels softer with her. We get to see a bit more quote unquote human side to her. That also happens like in the near the end when they go to the fucking cottage place, but I don't care about that. But anyways, yeah, it's the club. It's dark and seedy. This older woman invited you over in her like sex dungeon orgy situation thing happening, and Moira is like, what? And but for a second you're like, is this actually gonna happen? It doesn't happen. Moira just kind of freezes, and like Lita is like, whoa, I miss this. She's a gentleman. She's like, I misread the situation. I'm so sorry. Blah blah blah. Moira's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then Moira goes back to Reese, and you're just kind of left there sitting like, wow, marriage is a scam. Weddings are a scam. Just full heteropacifism. I feel so angry. I just feel so angry. And she goes back to Reese and they kind of reconcile and they fuck. And you're just like, I just, oof. I'm just staring at the wall right now. I'm just so mad. I need water. My mouth is so dry with rage. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I got water. I think my throat is about to die. I don't know how to like position this stupid tablet because I'm filming. Guys, as of recording this, I still have not gotten a microphone, so that's fun. That's really fun. The worst part is I think I have two microphones. One of them I don't know what happened to. The second one is technically like broken, but I think I've seen it the last time I was cleaning. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. I'm sorry that you just heard me swallow water so weirdly. It's like it feels like Moira doesn't get to be messy, problematic, flawed, whatever. It just feels like the narrative is constantly like, I don't know, it feels like narratively she's constantly like, I gotta keep it together. I gotta do the right thing. I can't like let loose. I mean, she did get let loose, so to speak. But that's how it feels like. Meanwhile, Reese and David and Maximilian and like literally like 90% of the cast can just kind of like fuck off and do whatever. That also reminds me, like that one side character that's like, oh fuck. This is so embarrassing because I love her, but what is her name? Hold on. Was it Kitty? Is it Kitty who I'm thinking of? I'm sorry if you heard some random YouTube audio. Wait a minute. Am I literally about to... let me look through the files. Her name is Kitty. Yes, I was not wrong. I was not wrong. What I was trying to say is that Kitty, another like a side character too, feels like she also can't really like be messy, quote unquote. I mean, she's exuberantly rich, so like we can argue that rich people are like by default improper. You know what I mean? Messy. But like yeah, narratively she's like very put together, like Moira, and it's so weird when you have Leda, and Leda is just like like a pure anarchist witch, and it just like it does feel racial. It does feel very racialized that a white woman and a white man can kind of do whatever, but like for Moira and Kitty, like no 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 no, you are in this box and you're barely allowed to breathe inside this box. And again, for the first book, I didn't really feel this. I think Kitty was barely in the first book, if I remember correctly, but she was very fun. She was very, you know, enchanting to me. But like, yeah, it also felt like Moira and Reese were like more of an equal footing, you know, more of an equal front. And David was the main disaster before he joined the polycule, which is so interesting. And it's gonna be fascinating how this is gonna play out? Is Moira gonna be quote unquote allowed to step out of this stupid marriage? Which, that's dumb. If her husband can do it, so should she. But I hate that she has to ask. I think, fuck, healthy boundaries. Fuck, healthy communication. I think she should just be allowed to go out and fuck whoever she wants. And we, the audience, get to see it. I'm sorry, it just infuriates me that Reese has a boyfriend and he's a little bitch about it. Meanwhile, Moira is like, I don't know, man. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I guess I'm just not gonna have this weird lesbian sex escapade and go back home to my husband. And just like, oh my god. Oh my god. Can I tell you, like, the part that, like, pissed me off the most? It was the fucking. Who showed up to Reese? I didn't write this down. Who showed up to Reese when he was in church? Was it fucking Archangel? Why can't I speak English today? Archangel Michael or whoever? Like, Reese shows up, and it's a very poignant, well-written moment, in my opinion. He shows up in church, he's like downtrodden, he's just miserable, he's begging for help. And fucking Archangel shows up, and he's like, who asks? Who wants me, basically? Who needs help? And Reese, like a true coward, rejects that help. And you're just like sitting there like, oh, I want to kill this guy. I want to kill this guy. Which, mission accomplished. Accomplished, I guess, by Saint Gibson. That's how I read her name. I don't think that's how it's read. Anyways, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. It's good for characters to be messy and weird and strange and mean and all that. But also, I am a misandrist, and I don't think Reese deserves rights. And this has been like just a horrible read. And it took me like 2 days to finish Evocation. I've been struggling with Ascension for like, it feels like 6 months. It's probably less, but it feels like 6 months, Whatever, let me just go to the rest of my notes. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I do want to, like, leave with, like, 2 questions. How do I think this book ends? I believe that, like, Maximilian, I don't think he's going to leave forever. Like, the vibe is that, he might. I know he told David, I'm gonna leave you alone forever, but I think he's lying. I think he's gonna, lurk and come back into his life eventually. So, like, yeah, I think Maximilian is probably gonna be still around. I think something is gonna happen with Lida and Moira, but I'm not sure if they're gonna have sex, if they're gonna hook up. Something, I don't know. Something is fishy here. I think Gibson is going to piss me off and, like, just never follow through, I do believe Moira, we're probably gonna barely see her friends, which is such a shame because I think she deserves a life beyond these 2 idiots, and I mean that lovingly for David and less lovingly for Reese. I believe, I don't think Reese is going to really learn anything at the end of this book. Yeah, that's that's what I think is gonna happen. And the last question I have, how do you think the book series ends? Now, this is for me and for you guys, answer in the comments if anybody's listening. I believe only at the very end is Reese going to get it together and, like, fully realize, what kind of a person he is and, like, fully accept himself and, like, get over himself. And I think, wait, one note I skipped. And is where are his parents? Because I was fully convinced there was going to be some kind of drama with his parents. And I kept reading and being like, oh, they're gonna show up somehow in the next chapter, and then in the next chapter something's gonna happen, and we just never like, I don't know, it felt like Chekhov's gun that never got fired. Like, I'm so close to the end and just they're nowhere to be found. I don't think something's gonna happen with them. So like, yeah, let me go back to the question, how the book series ends. He's only going to self-actualize at the very end, which to be fair, we can argue that's like good storytelling. I don't fucking know. I think there is a chance for David to kind of get closer to Moira, and for Moira to get closer to him, then either of them are close to Reese, if that makes sense, okay? Queer platonic rights. I'm sorry. I think they're adorable. What was the joke he said? He's like, I'm your boyfriend-in-law. That was adorable to me. So like, I don't know. I think something is gonna happen along those lines. I think the curse thing, oh, how is that going to play out? I'll be so honest, I don't fucking know. I think slash hope Moira is gonna get even more powerful, even more in her strength, even more in her magic. She's gonna get in her bag. But I don't think she's ever going to be as money hungry and as ambitious as David or Reese. I think I hope Reese is never going to be in a leadership position by the end of this series. Yeah. And what happens to the side characters, I don't fucking know. Your guess is as good as mine. I like them. I think they're entertaining, but also I haven't put as much thought into them as I have into my main bitches. So like, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Moira deserves better. This has been so infuriating. I'm closing my notebook. See you guys next week. Please tell me in the comments, how do you think the series ends? Because I truly don't know, girl. Wait. Okay, now I'm closing the notebook. You heard it here, guys. Bye.